Good morning, Year 9. This is Mr. Keyworth, Key Stage Leader for Enterprise, and I'm here to talk to you this morning about some of the course options that you'll be able to take in Year 10 and 11 at the Ferrers. Before we go into the course options that we have available, I thought I'd give a quick overview of the teaching staff that potentially you would have if you chose one of the courses available in the Enterprise faculty. For those of you who would be interested in our business qualifications, these would be the teachers potentially that you would have in front of you for your lessons. And for those of you who would be considering one of our IT or computer science qualifications, these are the members of staff that you would have teaching you.
The first course that we offer at Key Stage 4 is OCR GCSE Business. Now, this will build on some of the skills and knowledge that you've learned so far in your Year 9 Enterprise lessons. The course itself is set out into 7 topics. 6 topics looking at specific areas of business. As you can see on the left, we have business activity, marketing, people, operations, finance, and influences on business. Each of these will go into greater detail from the overview that you have. The 7th topic, the interdependent nature of business, looks at how each of these interact with each other to make businesses successful. The qualification itself is designed to equip you with skills and confidence within business, and hopefully to be able to apply these to differing contexts. The assessment for this course in particular is set over 2 written papers, both equal to 50% of the overall GCSE. The first paper looks at business activity, marketing and people, and the second paper looks at the operations, finance and influences topics. As you can see, the interdependent nature of business isn't on the paper as such, but will be examined within both of those papers. The next course that we have on offer at Key Stage 4 is OCR GCSE Economics. Now, this will differ from business as it is much more specialised in regards to how the global economy works. There are 2 components for this particular course. The first component looks at an introduction to economics, where you'll be introduced to the fundamental economic terms and concepts, and you'd be expected to apply them to explain how markets work. You'll also study about the roles of the main economic agents, how they interact with each other, and the importance of financial markets in general. For the second component, we look slightly more in terms of national and international economics. So you'll develop your understanding of how governments themselves aim to achieve economic objectives and the effects that these policies have on markets, and as well as the importance and impact of international trade. Now, again, this is assessed through 2 written papers, which you will take at the end of Year 11. First paper will look specifically at Component 1, which is your introduction to economics, and the second paper would look at Component 2, where we look at national and international economics. Both of these papers are equivalent to 50% of the GCSE. Moving away from the traditional GCSE, we offer the NCFE Tech Award Level 1-2 in Business and Enterprise. Now, this will differ from your normal GCSE in that you will be expected to complete a controlled assessment or coursework element to this course. If I start with the assessment side of it, you'll be assessed over 2 components. One is your written assessment, which equates to 40% of your GCSE. And with this, you will be able to sit your first attempt in November of Year 11, but you will also have the opportunity for a resit if necessary, and that would be in the following March. Then, once that is completed, you will be expected to complete a controlled assessment project, which equates to 60% of your overall GCSE, and this will be completed from the January of Year 11. Now, the course itself, like I say, is split into 2 units. The first unit, you will be looking at entrepreneurial characteristics and business aims and objectives, both financial and non-financial. The legal structures of business, so we're looking at sole traders, partnerships, PLCs, limited companies, etc., and also stakeholder engagement, so those who have an interest in a business and want to see it do well. You then move on to looking at the marketing mix, market research, the differing types of markets, and this looks at how businesses find out if there is a market for the products and services that they actually provide and how they conduct that research. We look then at operations management, where you will look at how production processes within businesses work, and then internal and external influences on business. Moving on to Unit 2, which will be your control assessment element, you will look at research, resource planning and growth of business, so how businesses once set up will grow. Human resource requirements for a business startup, who you need to employ, who needs to work for you. Sources of enterprise funding and business finance, which is quite a large element of Unit 2. And finally, the business and enterprise planning, which will feed in to what you actually need to complete for your controlled assessment. Moving on to our IT and computer science qualifications, the first one that we offer is OCR GCSE Computer Science. Now, the course itself will be split into two components. The first component will look at the central processing unit, computer memory storage, data representation, wired and wireless networks, network topologies, system security and system software, and we'll also look at the ethical, legal, cultural and environmental concerns associated with computer science. Second component looks more predominantly at your programming skills and your understanding of the fundamentals of programming. So again, looking at algorithms, etc. Now, the assessment for this particular course, again, is split 50-50. So component 1, computer systems, which will examine the first 6 bullet points from the content overview and is worth 50%. And component 2, which is your computational thinking, algorithms and programming, which will look at the remaining 5. Within that paper, you will also be examined on the skills that you have learned with the programming tasks that you will undertake throughout the course. The final qualification that we offer at Key Stage 4 is our vocational offer, which is OCR Cambridge Nationals in Information Technologies, which we'll be introducing from September. The qualification itself is split into 2 units. And the first unit will look at how you develop your knowledge and understanding of different hardware and software applications, how data is selected, stored, manipulated and presented, and you'll also look at the risks associated with this and how these risks can be mitigated. The second unit will require you to create a technological solution, which will process data and communicate information. The context for this will be provided by the exam board, and for it you will also be expected to show how you have followed the phases of a project lifecycle and how you use different hardware and software technologies.